Well, if you guys are watching us on the replay, what you're seeing right now is just a simple 20-second lead in to let some ads play and let, hopefully, you guys aren't seeing any more political ads like it was 2 weeks ago at the very least. Hopefully, you're at least talking about buying an automobile that you really can't afford. But other than that, it is Thursday night. It's 7 p.m. Welcome to the Car Guy and Six Fan Show. I'm your host tonight, Straight Six Fan, the Six Fan of the operation, and this guy over to the side of me, he goes by.
I go by Old Car Guy, and my name is Jason. I am the second half of the Car Guy and Six Fan Show. And guys, welcome to the season finale of season 4 of the Car Guy and Six Fan Show. We are totally excited to celebrate the season finale with our special guest. And you guys all know who he is. He doesn't really need much of an introduction, but Derek, go ahead and introduce yourself to those who may not know, who live under a rock somewhere.
I'm Derek. I'm from Bicycle Garage, coming at you from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Repping the mellow yellow down there. So before we get into our questions, get this show started, we do want to just take a brief moment to kind of acknowledge those people who are dropping in the live chat. So we had Eford Garage waiting for a good solid couple hours. Don't know what the stainless steel shop was letting you do to be just sitting there since 5:32 today. But one man shop, Robbie, our buddy Robbie, there. Stuff with Cletus, King Eric, the greatest of all, and of course, and that's all I show at the moment. But we know you guys are continuing to pile in. Jason, I'll let you kick us off, picking the brain of a guy, if you will, by Script Garage. So I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, so no problem at all. Derek, thank you for taking your time out of your Thursday evening. By the way, it is Thursday. You had mentioned you didn't know what day of the week it was earlier, but
It's trash day then.
it's trash day. Yeah, so recycles next week. Anyways, thanks for being a part of the show, and we'll start the questions off with something very, very simple, and it is basically what got you into YouTube? Why did you decide to pick up a camera? And start doing what you're doing, and how'd you get to where you are?
Yeah, I'll just hang with me now because this might take a little bit, but we're gonna get there. So I've been doing this for what you see on YouTube for probably 20 years, give or take, and we had started watching a couple shows, and I didn't really know what YouTube was until 2.5 years ago, and the wife kind of got me into. Actually, my kids, as ironic as that is, but and I started thinking, I could do that. I've been doing that. I know how to do that. And one night, the wife said, "Why don't you just give it a shot?" Because I was on my way to the garage, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to toss that engine in real quick, put this 4-speed in, put the front clip on that Camaro, and I'll have it done by tomorrow morning." And she said, "Why don't you just record that and put it on YouTube and see what happens?" So that was episode 1, recorded on a broken iPhone that continued to autofocus repeatedly every 2 seconds. That was duct taped to my garage door. And we did that, got it done, put it up. And I think the next day it had like 36,000 views or something. I was like, okay, well, maybe we've got something here. So we just started recording our adventures, just picking up junk. We were doing it anyway, so we just kind of brought the camera along and started recording, and here we are, having a blast doing it.
Well, so we'll stay right there, Derek. When you say we were doing it anyway, I guess take us through a little bit about so your passions were to do revivals, then just in general. It's just the challenge of it, or is this more of are you trying to flip cars? Take us through that when you say, well, we were doing it anyway. What were you talking about there?
My camera looks like it's got cataracts compared to your guys's. I don't know what's going on. I want to say thanks to One Man Shop. He sent a donation for you all. How's it going, guy? But so I was taught, I guess my mentors were literally triple my age. I worked with a guy that was twice my senior. I worked with my father. I worked with my grandfather. And whenever we picked something out of the tree row or an abandoned farm, I'm looking at it going, why are we even bought? It doesn't have doors. Like, why are we getting this car? And they're like, well, it's a 38 Chevy Coupe, and it's got a good steering wheel. And I'm like, But they would teach me, like, this car has a story, so-and-so. owned it. I saw this in a parade 32 years ago. So and so got married in it, and I started to really enjoy the history of these cars and understanding that there's a huge value to it. And having gone through it myself personally, there's a lot of emotions tied to these cars. So my favorite part is actually just learning the history of the car, the story of it, and actual example I'm going through right now. I bought a car that was deemed a parts car. He was literally stripping it down. I said, "Stop! I'll buy the whole thing." I drove it home. It's fine. Well, not really. It's sketchy, but I drove it home, and I'm going to put it back on the road. And now someone that's shade treatish, blue collar, can buy it at an affordable price and have a hot rod. And it's not just a parts car, and we've saved that history. So that's kind of what drives me, and it's fun, and it keeps me out of trouble, I guess. So
Well, some of the guys in the comments there are making some suggestions about you could take over for Red Green because he's retired and some of this stuff here. Uh, so we know that it's something that you've been doing, for a while, and we see a lot of revivals on different YouTube channels such as Junkyard Diggs and Dylan McCool and some of those guys, and you've got some rapport with those guys. You've actually kind of collaborated with them to do some videos, and so when it comes to doing revivals, is there some specific way you go about finding these vehicles? Like, is it like a Facebook Marketplace? Is it Craigslist, or does somebody just kind of put you onto it?
that's probably where I'm a little bit different um, than my friends or other people in kind of our niche. A lot of them look for, you know, this is a vehicle that's sought after, or I can make a profit on, or that I can easily get going and do something with it. I kind of like the oddities, or the ones that, hey, it's sat here for 23 years and four people have tried to get it to run and we don't know what's wrong with it. I'm like, I'll buy it. I don't even want a picture. I'm on the way. So I just like the oddballs, anything that's unique, challenging. I've gotten so many small block Chevys and Fords running that I might even do it blindfolded live one of these nights just to see what happens. Probably end up starting my lawnmower, but anyway. So I'm getting to the point where, like, let's do something really weird, like maybe some Saabs or Mercedes or a tank. I don't know, just a challenge. That's what I look for.
Yeah, and I think for our community here and the fans that have followed us for a long time, of course, on my main banner of my page, you'll find the phrase "offbeat hot rodding." So I think that's you're fitting right in there, Derek, when you talk about that. And of course, there's your four-door Hemi that you have, the old 50s Chrysler there, and or I may be making that up, but you weren't afraid to rebuild a 307 Chevy.
Right.
Like, and so I that's what I appreciate about your channel, is that it's like, hey, you know what, like, everybody views this as just a throwaway engine, but it's like, hey, well, what happens if someone cares for a second and tries something different, and doesn't build the 7 millionth 350 Chevy? So talk a little bit about what drives you towards the doing things differently, or what's the affinity there? What's the obsession?
I think the root of it, at least my wife tells me all the time, is there's just something wrong with my brain, apparently. But when someone says, like, I heard so many comments when I brought that Chevelle home, the 307's junk, it's a boat anchor, tear it out, scrap it, just all these comments. And I'm like, it sat for 25 years and drove me 600 miles home and got 15 miles to the gallon. That's not bad. And then when I tore it apart, I couldn't even believe it ran. And the comments continued, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to rebuild this engine because everyone says it's junk. And I'm just going to show, like you're saying, if you just pay attention and give a little bit of effort, you can take any engine out there and make it decent. And I think I built that whole engine for $300, something like that. It made 295 horse. It actually made more horsepower than a 350 I just dynoed that I built on a budget for a friend, and we were kind of giggling about that. But again, it's if you say I can't, I'm going to do it. If it's weird, I want it, kind of thing. Just trying to be unique and different.
So in the chat, if everybody just says Derek, you can't, like, just go haywire right now, and we'll give him the tank content he was asking for. So I'm just gonna invite. Go ahead in the chat, just say Derek, you can't. Go for it. All right, no, just kidding.
Well, and just to back up on that too is like one of the things that Grant was talking about offbeat hot rodding, and that's kind of what led Grant and I to kind of be the partnership or have the partnership that we have. He's got the '78 Fairmont, and I've got the '79 Chrysler Cordoba, and like just these are cars. I mean, the Fairmont more so now because it's kind of the second sought after Fox body after the Mustang. But like these Chrysler Cordobas, people just aren't going out sought after cars. They found it, and just because it was an old whatever, and figured, oh well, yeah, this will have to do. It's not a Road Runner or a whatever. But what's the one car that you've done in the past that was the oddest car that you revived or got going for your channel?
Oh, that's a tough question. Oddest on the channel would probably have to be I did a 50 something Buick, but it wasn't really a Buick. It had a body rear end. It had the original 50s Buick center section. Then it had like a Mustang 2 front end. And then it had an IMCA hobby stock race engine and a turbo 400 with like a 3900 stall. It was nothing made sense in the car. It was like a Frankenstein, sketchy. It should not have been on the road. So basically, I got it running and just took it out for burnouts and went down the interstate immediately with it. But that was probably the oddest. I would like to start, hopefully, next summer. I want to kind of roll back and get into the 30s. I'd like to do like a 38 Ford, 39 Chevy, maybe even find like a Dodge Brothers pickup, do an old stake bed, something like that. Um, just because I haven't done a lot of it, again, it would be a challenge. I'd have to, I don't even know what size the bolts are on the fenders. I'd have to just figure it out. Vice Grip will take care of it, I'm sure. So that would probably be the oddest is that Buick.
Well, you talked about oddest. I know you kind of like to stay in the GM lane more often than not, but I know you bought that old F-250 kind of out of like, everybody said, well, why don't you do a Ford? So, of course, being a straight six fan like myself, it had I don't remember if it was a 240 or 300, but that was one. But you talk about maybe rolling back the clock to the 30s there. What about? I know one of the things that I always think about as a Kansas native is one of my dreams is to take like an old wheat truck and turn it into like a car hauler or something. And the thing about these old grain trucks is they get used twice a year and then they live in a shed the rest of the year. So it's like the patina on them is always like immaculate. I mean, you have a 2.5 ton truck that I'm always thinking like perfect candidate for a car hauler. But what about I don't know, maybe dipping into the international world or something weird like that from, being a Minnesotan. I'm sure you have a inventory that you could pick from up there too.
Yeah. So I have my channel content and kind of the vehicles that I show on the channel, and then I have kind of my personal fleet of cars, I guess you can call it. So I've got some internationals, both vehicles, scouts, and tractors. So I'm a fan, definitely. I'm actually considering doing a diesel scout video. It's got the Nissan in it. And the problem is I have a horde of vehicles that are like 10 hours from me. So just getting there and back is, well, when you include cold snacks, that's a week. And then, actually working, that's a day. So it's a lot of time to go there and back and record and all that stuff. But I do like the international stuff. It's good stuff. We had a lot of internationals on the farm. The Scouts, the tractors, 1086, 1486, stuff like that. And to add to your comment about, harvest trucks, grain trucks, hay trucks, um, I've got a 56 F450 that only has 22,000 miles on it. And I mean, because you're right, they drove it for 3 weeks and then it sits in the shed and it doesn't do anything. I just don't know what to do with the thing. I mean, it's bulky and bright red, but yeah, maybe I think we just probably got to go to your channel. Probably, I'll give you a good price on it.
There you go. See, ask and ye
Yeah.
shall receive. So one of the things, Derek, that I'm not sure if this comes up or not, but I've often asked myself, okay, here's a guy who's got a successful YouTube channel, who seems to know an awful lot about cars, can basically get anything running, even a snowblower apparently. What is it that Derek does for a day job? What earns you a living outside of YouTube?
So as of recently, well, probably fall, we made the switch. I transitioned from a long-term career in the corporate world, as 180 as that seems, to actually full-time YouTube. So we've finally taken the leap. We jumped in teeth first, and we're ready to just put it all into the YouTube channel. And see, I'm not getting any younger, fellers. So we're just gonna see what happens and go for it. And I've got enough years under my belt. If this fails miserably and just a brush fire, then I can just go back to the corporate world. Maybe.
And for the record, at some point in the chat, I noticed that King Eric, the greatest of all, had mentioned something about me being older than Derek. And I think if we, I'm not going to ask Derek his age, but I think Derek and I are probably closer in age than Grant and Derek. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I'm a lot older than most people think. I'm lucky enough to have a darker beard, I think is what does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So without doing some serious math, I graduated class of '94. How about yourself?
'02.
Okay, yeah. See,
Oh,
well,
and,
you are closer to the Grant.
03 over here. So.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, nice try, Jason, you old fogey. But yeah, no. The funny thing is, we talk about okay. So on camera, we all know you as a guy. I'll say it that way. And then you said you were in the corporate world, and as 180 as that might sound, but as you were explaining that, you also whipped out one of your second language is one-liners, basically. I lost track. I couldn't keep up typing in my notes when I was rewatching your dyno of the 307 video, which is one of my favorites. And Moses sandals, that's deep. Chrome don't get you home. Of course, that's a fairly well used one. But then the old Midwestern rainstorm that came in and blasted your metal roof on your shed, and you said it sounded like a racehorse peeing on a flat rock. Bolt them on, and they run like O.J. Simpson. So take us through, how is it that Derek is the master of one-liners and it just comes so naturally? Because gosh darn it, I'll be dipped if I try to even come up with one on my own.
It's hard to explain. I think I have like a forward functioning version of ADD and like Alzheimer's. I'm not sure. Like at every second, there's like words in my head, like blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that's cool, and I file it away. And right now, I'm not sure what you just said to me, but I'm thinking of different stuff. Like, oh, that's funny, so I'm going to save that. We're going to put this one over here, and it just, I don't really know. It just spews out. Some of it I pick up because you got to remember, I grew up when I was a kid. My dad and my grandpa were always in the field. So at the end of the day, I was in a tractor with one of the two. I was usually my grandpa, who was, I think he was 66 when he retired. So we'd go to coffee and cards. So I'm a little kid sitting at a cart, and there's these old farts just jabbering. And I'm like, what the heck does that horse pissing on a flat rock? What does that mean? And I remember it because who says that, right? So some of it I picked up over the years, and then a lot of it is just all day. There's just voices in my head. It just, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Well, the thing that gets me too is, and it just how certain things roll off your tongue when you're working on an engine. Like everything has a name that's not what it is to the common guy. So I've got a few of them written down here, and maybe you can help explain to our guests what some of these things are. So, can you tell us what a sparkulator is?
Yeah, so that's that porcelain thingamajigget that runs into the head and shoots lightning out. I think most call it a spark plug, but for me to remember what it is, I just call it a sparkulator because it's got fire on the end of it. So pretty much
Okay,
everything that I name, I just whatever makes sense to me most, that's just what I go with.
and you're consistent. So sparkulator is connected to a lightning wire
Or lightning
o-
hose.
or lightning hose, which and on the top of the motor you've got a fire make it happener.
Yeah. So, well, it depends if it's an upgraded version. That's a lightning whirler. So the lightning
Okay.
whirler shoots down the lightning hoses down to the sparkulator. Or it's a fire make it happener. The fuel make it happener is the carburetor. That's some sort of vacuum orifice. Mixes fuel and atomizes science. There's wizardry and stuff goes down the intake. Um, I mean, this just why do they name it stuff? It doesn't make sense. Just call it what it is. It's a fuel make it happen. It does the thing. Fuel.
And the last one that I wrote down here that I just wanted to share that I like is you've got this excuse me, you got this little device that hooks up to the starter. Um, it's a little trigger so that when you're by yourself, you can start the car, and you've got a name for that.
The Lone Wolf 6000.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have those
See,
bells.
I went to Amazon, and I looked up Lone Wolf 6000, and there was some sort of Geritol cougar porn. I don't know what the hell it was, but nevertheless, Lone Wolf just does not Google search very well. That's what
No,
I'm
you'll
saying.
get weird socks and windbreakers. It's not good.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to take a moment. We got up to 36 people watching here, and this is great. We appreciate you guys taking time out on your Thursday to join us and Derek. So, of course, if you're watching us for the first time, my name's Grant Tommy. I'm with Straight Six Fan, and Jason Carr is my co-host. We do switch off from week to week as to which channel we host on. If this is your first time, you can catch up on what was season 4. We also do upload each episode to SoundCloud the day after. Well, I say day after. Sometimes I'm a little slow on that. But anyway, you get the point. You can find us at Car Guy and Six Fan Show over on SoundCloud. But I wanted to say hi to some of the people that have joined in the meantime. Our buddy Eric from Rick's Garage has dropped by. Classic Drivers Garage, Winnipeg, Car Life. Craft Beer Pours, Bacon Farts was commenting on all of your comments, Derek, about that. He likes all of your comments that start with smells like, fill in the blank, which it sounds appropriate that a guy named Bacon Farts would appreciate smells. So, and Smoky Magpot, I don't think we gave you a shout out with waffles and cream as well. So welcome everybody. And if you're enjoying yourselves, go ahead and consider giving us a thumbs up or blasting out the link over on your social media sites. Let the more people in here, the better it is. But anyway, Jason, take us away with the next question.
Yeah, so one of the things that we also like to do, Derek, as part of the show is there's a lot of YouTubers that watch the show, and that's kind of one of the reasons why we started doing what we're doing with the Car Guy and Six Fan Show way back in season 1, was to try and get ourselves, each of our channels, up to 1,000 subscribers, and therefore help other channels get there with some tips and tricks. So we like to ask our guests of more successful channels than we are, obviously, what are some tips and tricks that you might offer to those guys looking to succeed on YouTube?
I get asked this question a lot. I probably the most emailed question is, "Can you help me? And how do I grow my channel?" And when I got these questions 2 years ago, I honestly I didn't know. I had no idea what was happening. I jumped. I took me 3 days to upload one video. I didn't. There was buttons and questions, and it was difficult. But what I've basically, in my opinion, and it's different on who you ask, but for me, what I feel is different with my channel is I truly just did what I like, what I'm good at, what I enjoy, and I'm me. It's not a facade. It's not, oh, I need to, put a cape and vampire teeth in or whatever. It's what you see is what you get. I'm having fun. I'm doing what I love, and it's original. And there's so many different channels out there that are doing revivals and rescues and things like that. And I knew that coming in. But I also knew there's not a lot of people that can sleep standing up like I can. It's just, I'm a little different. So I'm just going to be me, and I'm going to go have fun, and I'm just going to see what happens. And the biggest advice to any channel is just don't try to follow trends. Don't try to benchmark yourself against other channels, because the one thing no one can never figure out, including the creators, is how the heck it works. There's no here's how the algorithm works. There's nothing out there for that. And as I've gotten deeper and deeper and deeper into it, just be original, do what you want to do, and if you're successful, you're successful. That's all there is to it. And just, as an example, if you mimic or copy another channel, it doesn't mean that you're going to have instant success. There's, I'm trying to be PC here. There's channels out there, some that I know very well, that are starting to really kind of mirror a lot of stuff that I'm doing, like, hey, let's drive it home now or do this other stuff. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see an increase in subscribers or views or anything like that. YouTube is so random. There's no way to tell what the next move is, what the next video is. So just stay true to yourself, have fun, love what you do, be original, and hopefully it works out for you.
Well, yeah, I want to piggyback on that a little bit because I know one of the guys that I do follow, not religiously or anything, but from time to time for like how to grow yourself on YouTube. Sean Kinnell of Think Media, he always says different is better than better. And so to your point, like if someone's really just trying to like rip off, hey, well, if Derek's doing it and he's having a successful, then that's what I need to do. Like, no, like find your own unique spin and do it a little bit differently. Like you don't have to drive it home. Like maybe it's like get it started and every time I get it started, I do a burnout. Like make your own signature, then what, And
Yeah.
so I'm kind of with you on that. But one of the other things, you said you just got to learn how to be you, which I'll self-admit myself. What I struggle with, like in this format, I probably smile, I don't know, 6-7 times on camera more than I do when I'm shooting my solo episode. Like it's really hard for me to like, I don't know. I'm critical of myself when I rewatch my own videos. Like, oh, I mean, is that guy really loving what he's doing? Is he really like,
Yeah,
he just,
up.
he's pissed off all the time. He's just worn out and like can't understand why he can't get his car started. So what advice would you have for people there when it comes to like working your sense of humor into the on-camera presence? Maybe it's just it comes natural to you, but do you have any advice there?
Every person is unique, and that's why we all surround ourselves with different types of people. I have a stone cold face friend that tells even drier jokes than you never know if he's mad, got a divorce, or fired. And that's how he talks. It's like, is it a good day? But it's fun, right? So you just be yourself. You got to learn what you are and just turn the camera on, forget it's there, do your thing. And people will gravitate towards it because they know it's original. They know it's you. They know this is just a guy working on his car or his truck. And it is what it is. And I think, a big part of why a lot of people got attracted to my channel potentially is I don't take anything seriously, it's metal. Like if it doesn't run, it doesn't run. There's tomorrow. We'll figure it out. It's just you got to smile, have fun, enjoy yourself, relax. And I'll admit, the first 30 episodes, I don't remember them. There was a lot of, you know, but that was me kind of learning how to get used to the camera. I still don't watch my episodes. It's like watching Christmas videos from the 90s. It's like, oh, turn this off. Why am I in Hanes underwear? Just stop, but it is what it is. You got to pull the veil off and just say, I'm me. I'm working on a car. It's either funny or it's semi-serious or it's, whatever your channel is. That's just what it is.
And there's nothing worse than somebody who's not funny and is trying to be funny. That does not make for good for good content at all. But one thing that I certainly can appreciate is the fact that your wife Jessica becomes part of the show. I don't want to say fairly regular, but she's there. Recently putting the trunk floor pan in Independence. So she's obviously a great supporter of the channel. She's encouraged you to do this. Are there future plans to have her become more of a part of the channel?
There is. That's a great question. There is actually, mainly because her day job she's a teacher, and that's kind of up in the air right now with all the COVID-19 stuff going on. So we play it by ear every day. We don't know what her schedule's going to be, and if she's in person or at home. So she's had a lot of days where she was distance learning, they call it. So I'm like, well, you might as well come to the shop because she gets it. She understands what we're trying to accomplish. She understands, today we've got a 12-hour day and we need to get this amount of work done to make an episode. And she'll jump right in and grab a torch or a grinder or a welder or whatever. And I'm super fortunate for that. And I get asked a lot, how did that happen or how did I make that happen? And I didn't. There's no, I guess I just got lucky, but being around it enough, I think she just finally felt comfortable to say, well, I've seen him weld 758,000 pounds of wire. I can just pick this thing up and pull the trigger. It doesn't seem that hard. But that definitely makes my day easier, knowing that she supports it and we have something in common. And quite frankly, she's pestering me to get that shit out there. So I need to pick it up a little bit, apparently.
Well, I can't imagine, if she was one of the main influences to get this party started anyway, right? Like, she's the one who encouraged you from the first place. Hey, why don't you just try it? Why don't you pick up a camera and see what happens? It seems like it would be, obviously the support was there from day one, so it would be natural that she would kind of figure out a way to integrate herself into, if she was encouraging you from the get-go, it kind of seems like a natural progression, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. I think she's always the kind of optimistic person of, try it, what do you have to lose? You don't know unless you try kind of person. And that's with everything that we do. The LS swap, we talked about doing it. She's like, what do you have to lose? Just try it. There's plenty of people in your community that you can reach out to. Turbochargers. We've got a bunch of crazy stuff coming up. She says, just try it. And if you fail, big deal. Pick up the phone, you call somebody, and you get help. And that's where she's always supported me is there really is no failing. It's learning. You just learn differently. Well, that lit the shop on fire, so let's try it this way.
Well, I've also had a question, a little bit off topic here, but just simply with today's political correctness and everybody feeling that they need to be their own identity, simply the name Vice Grip Garage, have you ever had anything come back on you for that? Like from Irwin to say, you can't be Vice Grip Garage because we've already got that name and blah, blah, blah.
That's a really good question. So that is why there's two reasons it's spelled VICE and not VISE, and that is trade and patent work. VISE vice grip is patented in 36 countries or however many there are. So we went with vice grip with the C because it's not patented, and it's also a play on words. Um, I don't do anything by the instructions typically, or the correct way, or follows the law in some cases,
Quote
um,
unquote.
quote unquote. Driving vehicles, so I've got 30 years without a title, registration, plates, or insurance. But so we thought, well, could work. It's a play on words, and it kind of gets across what we want. So that's why we settled with Vice Grip Garage VICE versus VISE, which is patented by Irwin.
Well, so here as we kind of start to look at the winding down the episode a little bit, we will probably go a little bit longer just because it is a season finale. So Derek, you've been gracious with your time, but we won't take you into Friday morning. We'll say that much. But
Although we could if you wanted to. I'm just saying.
well,
My
There's a
schedule's
party. There's a party up in here.
my schedule's free. I'm looking right now. I can't read very good, but it looks pretty free.
the cold snacks are flowing, as they would
Yes.
say.
Yeah.
But I did want to just take another moment to just thank everybody who's carved some time out there Thursday to join us, and just say that in the absence, because this is the season finale of the Car Guy and Six Fan Show, did want to say there are some other great live streams out there to help you fill that void. Of course, we have in the chat right now Novitaz, who does a Sunday night automotive show as well. Give him a look. So if you aren't subscribed to him, at least go check out his channel, see what he's about. And I want to say it's 8 p.m. on Sundays. Of course, I'm saying Central Time because I'm in the Central Time. So 9 p.m. or Eastern, that would be. And then Pony 1992, that's PONIE 1992. It's a lot of Mustang focused content, but he has a great on-camera presence and a great way of interacting with the live stream. Those would be some of the two I can think of off the top of my head that you guys could interact with in the interim. But Derek, at this point in the show, we like to kind of take a peek under the covers, or the car cover, if you will, about upcoming content on our channels or episode. But since we're blindsiding you with that piece, I'm going to send it over to Jason. Jason, what do you got coming up on Old Car Guy?
Well, you guys all know that in the last episode, I did a guy did a smart thing and lifted a 2003 Mercury Grand Marquis.
Approved.
Thank you. Today we had a little bit of an issue, and I almost lost a wheel. So that episode is coming up on Saturday. Yeah, you guys will want to tune into that. It was meant to be an update video to see, I've been driving this car for 3 or 4 weeks now, and I've been a week with this new lift kit. How's everything handling? How's it working? Well, you guys all know the Kenny Rogers song, "You picked a fine time to leave me loose." Anyway, that almost happened today coming back from lunch, and so that's going to give you an update on that. Grant, we all know that the Fairmont lives again, and we also are awaiting that video. Tell us a little bit about when we can expect to see that.
Yeah, so for sure between now and next Thursday, you'll see an episode of some sort. And like I said, I want to do it upright, and I want to make it enjoyable, because I have just taken such time off not producing any content that I want to, I'm not going to use the word cinematic because I don't think I'm that good, but I want to, I guess try a little harder. So, Derek, what could the viewers expect coming up on your channel?
That's a great question. I guess I don't know. We actually suffered a fairly catastrophic hardware issue recently. I lost 11 unseen episodes, which was basically our winter content. I produce ahead of time, so I can just blip them out when I need to. So being that is gone, we're kind of scrambling right now to piece together some stuff just to kind of tide us over until I can basically restart the catalog. So the fastest thing for me is we're going to see a bunch of Buick content. There's some Le Sabres, some call them Le Sabres. I'm not sure. I think it's Spanish for longsword, but anyway. Then we got some snow machines coming up. We're going to do some more of that. Some pickup stuff, and then hopefully we'll settle back into getting on the independent Chevelle build and then our crew cab LS swap build pretty soon.
Go ahead.
We both made the long. About to ask a question. No, I was just going to say we were going to open up to the chat. If you guys had questions for Derek, we were just going to let you guys give you that warning to like feed them in there, and we'll see if we can get some of those answered. And yeah, it's nice. We've seen some more people pop in here towards the tail end. But Jason, did I steal your thunder there?
No, not at all. That's exactly where I was going. I just wanted to make a couple of points about some of the people who are in the chat. And Mike Bemis made a comment saying he's a longtime Vice Grip fan and subscriber and just subscribed to these two other guys because of him being on the show. Looking forward to your guys' content as well. So thank you very much, Mike, for jumping on the bandwagon here and being a part of what Grant and I do. And I'm sure that Derek is appreciative of you being a subscriber for him as well. We did have a question come in from King Eric the Great. If I can scroll back here and find it. He's asking Derek, does Derek have friends that work in the railroad? Just wondering because of the train video he did.
Oh, great question. Yeah, so we recently did, and I don't know why I didn't think of this, 79 years ago. But my brother works on the railroad, like literally every day. And I was driving up there one day just to go see him. Family's big for me, so I try to travel around as much as I can to see family. Driving up there, and we're illegally texting and driving and doing all that stuff. And he says, "Do you want to start a 3,000 horsepower train today?" And I'm like, "Yep, let's go ahead and we should probably do that." So yeah, my brother works on the railroad. He does all the maintenance on those machines, track machines, locomotives, the rails themselves, cars. So he's very smart on how all of that stuff works. Fortunately, I'm not. This was a lot of stuff that I've never seen before. I mean, these pistons are trash cans. I don't understand how that works. But that was a really good time, and I actually did learn a lot about. I had no idea that GM had a locomotive engine side of the company until that day. Just blew me away. I had no idea.
Well, one of the questions that came in from the chat. Well, first off, I wanted to give a special shout out to Spider Garage because I know if you know Ken and Nathaniel. Nathaniel's always wearing a Vice Grip Garage hat in all the videos, so loyal follow there. Jason, I'll let you handle Spider Garage's question, but Stuff with Cletus asks, where do you get all of your road signs for body repairs, Derek?
There's
if
the
you
honest answer,
want to answer,
and there's the
small audience. Just know that we have a small audience.
well, I get
places is an acceptable answer too. Places.
I want to say gravel roads, but my other side is saying garage sales and auction sales and things like that. Honestly, a lot of them just show up in the mail, which I'm really fortunate for. I get one-way signs, yield signs, stuff like that. The postmaster does not like me whatsoever. I show up, and he's like, you realize you have a P.O. box this big, and I've got a stop sign in the back like this. And I'm like, sorry. But a lot of people send them over, and then I cannot pass up a secondhand store if I'm traveling. I never travel with just a standard GPS. I always do avoid highways just so I can go on the back roads, which you have to do. If you own a classic car or an old school car, don't take the interstate. Go the old school way. And I find a lot of stuff that way, actually. Secondhand stores, flea markets, things like that.
true to the historic Route 66 sign right over Grant's shoulder there. So yeah, Spider Garage had a question, and this is one of the questions that I wanted to get to too. Is he's asking, are you excited to be in the 2.4 hours of Les Mullet?
Yeah, that should be a good time. I think that's a couple days. I'm trying to read the calendar, but my eyes don't work. It should be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to it. Um, I've never driven a Crown Vic that of age, 90s something, 2000s. Anyway,
You're
um,
gonna love it, according to Jason.
You're gonna want one, sir.
I hear it. I hear that all the time. Like, I get a lot of comments like, "Put it on cruise at 80. You don't have to do anything." So I'm looking forward to that. There's a lot of people I haven't met in that group. Um, I'm actually still weirded out that I'm even going because it's kind of the who's who of YouTube, and then there's like me. So I don't know. They're probably all just gonna point at me when I walk in the room, and I'd be like, "I'm here." But no, it should be a lot of fun, and hopefully we put on a good show. The 2 drivers per car thing should be really cool. 45 minutes per driver. We get 10 minutes to switch drivers. So there's kind of an offense, defense kind of thing, and who's going to play what. And we have a large tank of NOS to play with. Um, I think we're probably going to go with smoke bombs, train horns, and strobe lights to kind of just distract people. It's probably going to be our tactic. All they said was you couldn't modify the performance of the car. They didn't say you couldn't take the hood off or put train lights and a horn on. That's all I'm saying.
Bottle rockets. Just throwing that out there.
Well, we were going to Roman candles, but maybe bottle rockets. Yeah.
Well, Derek, I wanted to take a moment just to thank you for spending this amount of time with us. We've probably taken a little longer than we promised. We're cracking the 45-minute mark, so we'll try to wind this down. And just want to thank once again everybody for being here and joining the show. It's Jason and I, we just kind of started this show on a whim, and it was to help us grow our channels. And as each season comes by, it gets a little bigger and better, and we really feel, I don't want to speak for you, Jason, but I think we feel really proud about what we've done here in season 4. And so that I do just want to hand it over to you to kind of close this out.
Yeah, so one of the things that we have to look forward to is, Grant and I have already decided that we will do a season 5, picking up probably in late January-ish. I'm not sure where that we'll nail that time. But nevertheless, we're pretty excited, and like Grant said, we are proud. We're certainly very thankful to have guests like Derek come on the show for a couple of small guys who are just wanting to have some fun, and at the same time get to meet some other people in the same automotive YouTube niche that we're in. And learn a few things from each other and get some exposure either way. So, Derek, thanks again for taking some time out of your week and your Thursday evening to spend some time with a couple of, do-gooders like ourselves here and be a part of the CARRGUY and Six Fan show.
Oh, absolutely. This was a lot of fun. And we're all just guys doing our thing. That's all it comes down to. Yeah, this community is such a great community. I'm just proud to be a part of it. I'm sure you guys are as well. Doesn't matter if it's import, export, truck, car, whatever. And today, we just want to do hot rod stuff with our friends. That's pretty much all it comes down to. So, thanks for having me, and good luck on season 5.
Thanks, Derek. So stick around after we go off air. We'll have a little kind of after show here. And we just want to thank everybody else for being a part of the CARRGUY and Six Fan show for 4 seasons. We see a lot of names that come up every week that have been here for a long time, right from the very beginning. And it's always great to see new names pop into the stream every week. So thank you guys for taking the time out of your days and, making this show a success. Having said all that, we'll end this show with stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. We love you guys. We'll see you